Chase here, and thank you for watching. I've tried to eliminate the glare behind me as best I could, and I'll try to stay in the center. Kicking the cat. You know, there's a lot of times in life that we experience things that we have no control over. And as far as control goes, there's only two things that we can control. That's what we say and what we do. We can't control what other people say and what other people do. But in knowing that, we can control, in knowing that we can only control what we say and do, we can control how we respond to what other people say and do. Unfortunately, humans are very habitual, responsive. During certain experiences, we respond in a reactionary way. A certain stimulus will cause us to behave in a way that we've always acted before. This is something that I call kicking the cat. And an example that I use is, have you ever been driving somewhere and somebody cuts you off? Now usually our first response is to give them the finger, honk our horns, and cuss at them. Saying things like, what the fuck, can you not see me? I'm driving this big red Suburban. Or, you know, where'd you get your fucking license in a Cracker Jack box? We say things like that. And that's how we respond to it. That's how we react to that. But I want to ask you something. Have you ever cut somebody off? Most of us have. Now let me ask you this. Was it a direct offense to that person that you cut off? Probably not. You probably never seen that person, that vehicle in your life. And it wasn't that you were trying to cut that person off, that vehicle off. You just needed to be in that other lane. And you cut them off for whatever reason. Maybe that exit came upon you faster than you thought. Maybe you didn't actually see them. Usually you just say, oops, I'm sorry, I didn't see you, or my bad, or something like that. It wasn't a personal affront to that person. Now we have to remember that whenever somebody cuts us off, it's not a personal affront to us. It's the same reason that we cut other people off. Either they didn't see us, or the exit or that lane, turning, whatever, came upon them quicker than they knew. Now with kicking the cat part comes in is we get pissed off on our way home. You know, we had a hard day. We get home. You know, wife's in there cooking dinner. Husband's in there, maybe he's grilling. We ask him, you know, whatever. What are we having for dinner? Hamburgers. Damn it, I wanted meatloaf. You never make what I want. Kids are playing in the living room. Kids, have you done your homework yet? No, Dad, we just got home. Nothing ever gets done. Get in there and get your homework. Nothing ever gets done until I get home. Then we walk down the hall. Cat's just sitting there. King or queen of the domicile. You're just its pet. But for whatever reason, he's sitting in the hall. You go by and kick the cat. Get out of my way. We've had a bad day. And we came home. We took it out on the wife. We took it out on the kids. We took it out on the cat. And we kicked the cat. Now, did our spouse deserve that? No. Did our children deserve that? No. Did the cat deserve that? Probably, but in this instance, no. Now, our whole experience of life is determined by our attitude and our perspective. And we can change that. We can change. Sorry. I'm a very emotional person. And this being my first presentation, it's as real as it gets. So, but we can change our attitude and our perspective. We've all probably, most likely, large proportion of us have cut other people off. So instead of getting upset, going home, taking down the wife and the kids and kicking the cat, we need to change our perspective and attitude, which is something that at first you need to do it consciously. You might sit there and flip them off and cuss them, but then check yourself, relax, change your perspective and attitude. When somebody cuts you off, just back off. Say, well, okay, I see you, asshole. You didn't see me, you had to be there for whatever reason. You're in my lane now, you cut me off, I'm gonna back off 3 lanes. I'm gonna turn on the radio and say, well, that's my favorite song. Sing it like you wrote it. But change your perspective and your attitude. You can't change the behavior of other people. You can't change the words that other people say. But you can change how you respond to them. And our whole experience of life is dependent on our perspective and our attitude. And those are interchangeable. You can't have one without the other. Your attitude affects your perspective. Your perspective affects your attitude. And if you change that to accept things that you can't change, the behaviors of the people, the words of other people, and understand that you can take control of your life in what you do, in what you say, and how you respond to other people and to other experiences. Now, one of the examples that I'm going to give you tonight from my own experience is, tonight I ran to town to get some snuff, smokeless tobacco. And on the way there, I had a flat tire. No big deal. It's a flat. Get the spare out, get the jack, change it. Okay. So I get the spare out. It's good. I get the jack out. But the parts for it were for another jack. The jack that I had the little eye in it that you put the loop in and then twist it. The parts I had were for the slot that you stick into the jack and turn it. Now, I'm stuck with a good spare and no jack to jack it up. I call several family members, or text message several family members. Nobody's available. I call the auto parts store to see if they loan out jacks. No, they don't. I got on Facebook and put my situation on there, and somebody that I met once last week on the river, or on the creek, no, the river, there's a difference, came to my aid and allowed me to use their jack. Now, the jack that they had initially wouldn't work because the height difference, it was made for the lower suspension of a different vehicle. But we got my suspension lifted, the old tire off, and changed a new tire. Now, initially when I had the flat, I could have gotten pissed off, cussed. Okay? Now, when I pulled the jack out, and it wasn't a working jack, it would have worked, but it would have taken a lot longer and a lot more muscle power than I care to admit that I don't have or wanted to use. And then when I tried to get a hold of family members and friends that I know down here, and nobody was available. There were 3 times that I could have become distraught and exasperated and just given up and lost my perspective and my attitude. But I maintained it because I knew that I had a flat. That was the goal, was to change that flat. I couldn't just sit there and be mad. It wasn't going to change the parts of the jack that I had to interchange with each other so I could use it. I could have sat there and been mad when nobody responded to me initially.